Yeah, and I only knew Linda Kasabian. I've seen her 3 times in my life, maybe 2 minutes in my whole life I've seen the broad.
The former president seethed as he gave his reaction in 3 videos posted on social media.
I have absolutely no idea who this woman is. The verdict is a disgrace. A jury from an anti-Trump area, which is probably the worst place in the United States for me to get a fair trial.
Yeah, and I only knew Linda Kasabian. I've seen her 3 times in my life, maybe 2 minutes in my whole life I've seen the broad.
About a significant verdict that was reached yesterday. I know this is something you want to weigh in on as well. A Manhattan jury found that you sexually abused the writer E. Jean Carroll and defamed her. You've denied this, but what do you say to voters who say it disqualifies you from being president?
Well, there aren't too many of them because my poll numbers just came out and they went up. Okay. I think I'm the only person in history who had a charge like that. And usually you leave office, you say, I'm sorry, but I'm going to back home. I'm back home to my family and everything. I'm going to be resigned. My poll numbers went up, and they went up with the other fake charge, too. Because what's happening is they're doing this for election interference. This woman, I don't know her. I never met her. I have no idea who she is. I swear on my children, which I'd never do. I have no idea who this woman is. This is a fake story, made-up story. We had a horrible Clinton-appointed judge. He was horrible. He allowed her to put everything in. He allowed us to put nothing in.
Mr. President,
this is a
you're recounting your version
story.
of events here right now to the audience. You referenced the trial. You did not go to the trial and actually testify. Do you wish that you had testified?
No, it wouldn't have made a difference. This was a rigged deal. My lawyer said, sir, you don't have to do it. I actually said, I think I should. It would be respectful. They said, sir, don't do it. This is a fake story, and you don't want to give it credibility. That's why I didn't go.
One thing you did do in this.
And I swear, and I've never done that, and I swear to, I have no idea who the hell. She's a whack job.
She said, can I stay here? I said, can you stay here? She said, I'd like to live at the ranch. I said, I'd like to live at the ranch. She said, well, can I stay here? I said, can I fuck you? She says, yeah. And I put my hand up her dress, and I said, yeah, okay, you can stay around. That's the biggest thought in my head was getting at her body. I
moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it.
Whoa.
I did try and fuck her. She was married.
That's huge news, Sarah.
No, Nancy. Yeah. No, this was marriages. And I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took her out furniture. I moved on her like a bitch. But I couldn't get there, and she was married. And all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look. I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything.
Pull the ham.
Hello, how are you? Huh?
She said, can I stay here? I said, can you stay here? She said, I'd like to live at the ranch. I said, I'd like to live at the ranch. She said, well, can I stay here? I said, can I fuck you? She says, yeah. And I put my hand up her dress, and I said, yeah, okay, you can stay around. That's the biggest thought in my head was getting at her body.
Yet at times, his fatherly praise is downright cringeworthy, like on The View in 2006.
I said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird. Stop it. You know what? You are sick.
Far from protecting his daughter from being talked about as a sex object, he has encouraged it multiple times. On Howard Stern's radio show in 2004 and then again in 2006.
By the way, your daughter,
she's beautiful.
Can I say this? A piece of ass. Yeah. She looks more voluptuous than ever.
She's actually always been very voluptuous. She's tall. She's almost 6 feet tall.
She said, can I stay here? I said, can you stay here? She said, I'd like to live at the ranch. I said, I'd like to live at the ranch. She said, well, can I stay here? I said, can I fuck you? She says, yeah. And I put my hand up her dress, and I said, yeah, okay, you can stay around. That's the biggest thought in my head was getting at her body.
Welcome the lovely Ivanka Trump.
Still, even Ivanka seemed confused when talk show host Wendy Williams asked about things the two have in common.
What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
Donald Trump has always been proud of his daughter.
I'd call collect to his office. I was probably, 10 years old. He would pick up the phone every single time, and he'd put me on speakerphone, Wouldn't be a long conversation. He'd introduce me to whoever was in his office.
And he was front row when Ivanka took to the catwalk during her short-lived career as a fashion model. Still, Donald Trump repeatedly points out how hot his daughter is, saying last year in a Rolling Stone article, "Yeah, she's really something, and what a beauty, that one. If I weren't happily married and, you know, her father."
My daughter, Ivanka.
Yeah.
She's 6 feet tall. She's got the best body.
Yeah, she's hot.
She said, can I stay here? I said, can you stay here? She said, I'd like to live at the ranch. I said, I'd like to live at the ranch. She said, well, can I stay here? I said, can I fuck you? She says, yeah. And I put my hand up her dress, and I said, yeah, okay, you can stay around. That's the biggest thought in my head was getting at her body. She said, can I stay here? I said, can you stay here? She said, I'd like to live at the ranch. I said, I'd like to live at the ranch. She said, well, can I stay here? I said, can I fuck you? She says, yeah. And I put my hand up her dress, and I said, yeah, okay, you can stay around. That's the biggest thought in my head was getting at her body. She said, can I stay here? I said, can you stay here? She said, I'd like to live at the ranch. I said, I'd like to live at the ranch. She said, well, can I stay here? I said, can I fuck you? She says, yeah. And I put my hand up her dress, and I said, yeah, okay, you can stay around. That's the biggest thought in my head was getting at her body.
The footage, shot in November of 1992, before Trump opened the resort as a club, shows the future president surrounded by cheerleaders for the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins. Music blares in the background. After a while, Trump goes to greet three new guests, among them the financier Jeffrey Epstein, who spent more than a decade before his guilty plea on state prostitution charges. Later in the footage, Trump is seen talking to Epstein and another man as women are dancing in front of him. Trump alternates between dancing and
I was not a fan of his. That I can tell you. I was not a fan of his.
She said, can I stay here? I said, can you stay here? She said, I'd like to live at the ranch. I said, I'd like to live at the ranch. She said, well, can I stay here? I said, can I fuck you? She says, yeah. And I put my hand up her dress, and I said, yeah, okay, you can stay around. That's the biggest thought in my head was getting at her body.
And I quote him. This is what the Democrats do to their Republican opponent, who is leading them by a lot in the polls. This is AI, and it is very dangerous for our country. Also, I was never on Epstein's plane or at his stupid island. Strong laws ought to be developed against AI. It will be a big and very dangerous problem in the future, end quote. Here is the problem I have with this, not the AI part. That was awful. I have a problem with what he said because only part of his denial may be true. There is no record of Donald Trump ever visiting Jeffrey Epstein's Caribbean island, Little St. James. That is clear. But there is plenty of hard evidence that he rode on Epstein's plane, and not just one time, 7 times, at least 7 times. And we know that because his name appears in flight logs that are submitted to the FAA. Here's what they reveal. Trump flew 4 times in 1993. He flew once in 1994 and again in 1995. Those are in addition to a flight that was previously reported and documented in 1997. All of the flights were between Palm Beach and New York City. And the logs show Epstein was on board the plane with Trump as well, each of those times. The 1994 flight is notable because Trump's then-wife Marla Maples is also listed on the flight log. And according to those logs, they decided to bring along their then-infant daughter, Tiffany Trump, as well as the family's nanny. They are all on the log. On the flight in 1995, the logs say that Trump also brought along his then 12-year-old son, Eric Trump. So, again, these are documents that are submitted to the FAA. These are not just claims made by someone in a deposition. So it is hard to sort of reconcile when the president says, I was never on that airplane.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would, or at least...
Do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others. Certainly about the way he died. It would be interesting to find out what happened there because that was a weird situation and the cameras didn't happen to be working, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I'd go a long way toward that one. The other stuff I would.
Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison, and a lot of people want to know if she's going to turn in powerful people. And I know you've talked in the past about Prince Andrew, and you've criticized Bill Clinton's behavior. I'm wondering, do you feel that she's going to turn in powerful men? How do you see that working out?
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well.
She said, can I stay here? I said, can you stay here? She said, I'd like to live at the ranch. I said, I'd like to live at the ranch. She said, well, can I stay here? I said, can I fuck you? She says, yeah. And I put my hand up her dress, and I said, yeah, okay, you can stay around. That's the biggest thought in my head was getting at her body.
You own this pageant, you go over, you're meeting the girls and stuff. One of them comes up to you and says, Mr. Trump, you're a very sexy man.
You're a beautiful man. You have fantastic hair.
Well, you're a powerful man. Right? You're a powerful man.
Right.
I want to sleep with you. Now, you're not the type that would say no.
I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Right. No, but I mean, you see a beautiful woman, you want to have that. You're a guy who likes to have everything, right?
Well, couldn't that be construed, however, as
conflict?
Yes.
Well, I don't see it as a conflict.
It could be a conflict of interest, but, it's the kind of thing you worry about later.
Oh, I see.
You tend to think about the conflict a little bit later on.
The question is, how can it not be construed?
No, I mean, some of these foreign girls, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with vagina. And,
well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting.
Right,
I want to make sure that
like
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like